It's working. Genesis, the 10th chapter. And I'm going to talk to you briefly also from Genesis, the 12th chapter, from our main thought. But as we look at our lesson for the day, is the Jewish genealogy is the study of the Jewish family and tracing them to their lineage and history. But when we start reading in Genesis and we see all these names like so-and-so begot so-and-so and this person begot this person, and we can't pronounce the names, so sometimes we half read them or we misread the names and can't pronounce the names. And then sometimes we choose to not read that section at all, because I remember when I was working one time and a young lady wanted to start reading the Bible, and when she started on all these so-and-so begot so-and-so, and she said, can I just skip that part and go further? And I didn't know what I know now, so I could have helped her, and I told her, yeah, you can skip it and just go on a little further till, you find something that you understand and that you enjoy reading. And talking about genealogy, even with our families today, we have to know the bloodline of our family. And sometimes I regret that I didn't write things down like they did in those days. They kept record of it. And anybody could say they was a priest, but if you got it, the Jews had it lined up where they knew what tribe you was from, or whether you was a priest or not, whether you was a false prophet. So we have to keep up with things because I feel bad about it, because in those days, sometimes you didn't know all your family members. Even sometimes now we don't know our family members, but you find out when a person died, everybody kin to you. And so my brother always tell me about somebody as my sister, and I just heard that again maybe a couple of months ago, but nobody ever came to me. And my brother that was right under me, he knew everything about everybody in the family. And I wish I would have got him to write a lot of things down, because he used to tell me, yeah, so-and-so is your sister. Daddy jumped that fence. But so that's why we got to look at our bloodline and write this stuff down so we'll know who's who. And sometimes you may never know who's who. But, and as we study this lesson, it's a very good lesson. And it tells us about, it talks about, that Abraham had a journey, and he and his family had already started this journey to Canaan. But on the way, they stopped to Haran. They stopped on the way. But think about what God wants you to do. Now, Abram, 75 years old, didn't have any children. He could have used a lot of excuse when God told him to separate himself. He wanted to separate himself from his family and just go to an unfamiliar place. Just think about when a person is looking for a church home and they come in here. They're in an unfamiliar place. But we have to, as Christians, we have to watch how we treat them. Because they can come here one Sunday, that may be their first Sunday here, everything is lovey-dovey. And then they come back the next Sunday and they see us bickering at each other and talking about each other. So they're not going to come back. So we got to watch how we handle things and how we do things. But God used these two words. God told Abraham, he said, to trust and go. And Abraham was obedient, and we have to be obedient to God when he tells us to do things. Somebody may not want us to do it. Somebody may try to block you or stop you. But if you trust enough in the Lord, he's going to make a way for you to do whatever he has called you to do. Now, we weren't called in here to do nothing. So why come to church and do nothing? There's a purpose and a plan for everybody's life. And there's enough work in the church for all of us in church to have something to do without saying, well, she's trying to take my job. She trying to take over. If you see a person trying to do something, maybe you can learn from them as well as they can learn from you. You need to get together. And that's what we have to do. Because sometimes we have a tendency to destroy our church, because I would want our church to be an unfamiliar place. I was looking for a church home when I came here. And I went to a church, and I went twice, and nobody called me. And I mentioned that I was looking for a church home. But when I came here, it was different. I was invited, I was really treated sweet. I was really treated nice, and but along the way, I was mistreated. But I didn't stop doing God's work because I was mistreated. And that's what we tend to do sometimes. We try to run to another church or run off because we're being mistreated. You can be mistreated at home. So what's the difference? God was mistreated so many times. Look when Jesus walked on the earth. Was he always treated right? That's Jesus. Oh yeah, he had priority over everything. He was mistreated too. And so when we talk about what God told Abraham, he said, I will make thee a great nation. But since Abraham trusted God, think about what he did. Abram's name was changed from Abram to Abraham, the exalted father, to Abraham, father of many. And God told him, I will bless thee. God blessed Abraham with spiritual blessings, just like he do us, with temporal blessings, eternal blessings. Blessings that can't anybody take away from us. And we find that in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, 13th verse. You can also look in Ephesians, the 1st chapter, 3rd verse. And God said, I will make thy name great. Now, the name of obedient believers shall be made great. What would people say about you once you come through here and leave, or you pass on, or you die, or you get too sick to come? Do you want to be visited? Do you want to be that person that nobody got along with, and nobody come to see you? Then you say the pastor didn't come by and nobody came by? But you know, you want your name to be great. In order for your name to be great, then you have to live a life that's pleasing to God. What would people say about you? And he said, and thou shalt be a blessing, a source of doing great and good things to other people. Don't just be a blessing just for yourself and your family. Think about other people that you can do things for and that you can help. And he said, and I will bless them that bless thee. There are benefits when you bless others. You're going to reap a good harvest. If you sow a good seed, you're going to reap a good harvest. If you sow some bad seeds, look out. That day is coming when all that you've done, you're going to have to pay for it. You know, we always say, you're going to pay for that. Oh, yeah, she's going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. And that day going to come that you're going to pay for it. Sometimes when it's on your sick bed, when you never given your life to Christ, you're going to eventually bow down to God. He said, at the sound of my voice, every knee must bow, and I truly believe that. And it said that he going to curse them that curse thee. And God promised Adam a great blessing. But the ground was cursed because Adam failed our transgressions. He said, we fall, but we got a way out. You know, Adam may have not known the way that we know now, that we can get out of things that we get into. No matter how tough it is and no matter what you're going through. And it said, and all the families shall be blessed. In Abraham, a blessing is laid up as a treasure and hid in the field to be realized at due time. In due time and in due season, your season's going to come because seasons change. Good things happen. I'm looking for my season. It's your season. If it's your season to be blessed, can't nobody block it, can't nobody stop it.